Welcome to my another video. Trump, the president of America, threatening around 30 to 40 countries using Masala strategy. They're given one name called Masala. The name they have given for that particular strategy is mutually agreed settlements achieved through leveraged arm twisting. It is in short form, we call it as Masala. We use spices, Masala, in curries in India. Especially in South India, the Masala will be mostly used for non-vegetarian curries. And maybe Trump doesn't know that masala is something called spices we use in India. Maybe Trump doesn't know that this masala has a different meaning in India, but they formed one name, something called a masala, and they started threatening more than 30 to 40 countries in the world. What does it mean by this masala? Mutually agreed settlements achieved through leveraged arm twisting is nothing but this is one-sided trade deals pushed by the Trump administration. Trump administration invented this word, masala, and they're pushing one-sided trade deals to all the countries, more than 30-40 countries. And something like that, the Trump says that I am deciding the tariffs of your countries and then it is up to you to decide. See, the Trump administration is something like a threatening tariff. Of course, many of the countries, they chose a curry favor strategy to please Trump. And this masala is also, these agreements are characterized by the US offering tariff relief in exchange for guaranteed American exports, and the tariff reliefs will be given. That is what actual masala strategy the Trump adopted to threaten different countries. First of all, Trump threw an odd number and high tariff number on the countries. And he said, I'm going to impose this tariff on your exports. A bigger number, odd number he threw first. Then he's saying that I'll give you relief to this number if you accept for guaranteed American exports. Something like just put a rope on the neck of someone and tightly pull and then can't breathe. Then he says that if you accept, I will release this. Otherwise, something like that, this Trump strategy. He threw the odd number which countries cannot bear and they cannot afford such a huge number, and they threw the first number. And he said 50%, 40%, Vietnam 40% he said. Chinese products 150% he threw, and Indian products 26% he threw the tariff. Something like tied tightly on the neck. And they're unable to breathe, and they say that they went for bargaining. Please leave it. And he says that I will relieve this in exchange of guaranteed American exports. This is the strategy that Trump is following. Of course, this masala will be politically favorable concessions. That means country to country, because in India, we are friendly country to America. Enemy's enemy is our friend. So, American enemy is China and our enemy is China. So, there is good terms and relationships with the US and India. China is the common enemy. The Trump administration will show political favoritism on India, obviously, right? Now, this is actually the masala strategy Trump following to threaten countries. As part of it, he threw a number on India also. We know that the Trump administration, they are taking 10% as a base tariff. On India, they imposed 26%. They given 90 days time. On April 9, they given 90 days deadline, and it was ended on July 9. Again, they extended the date until August 1st, 2025. And then, of course, Piyush Goyal and some Agarwal, few people who are representing our India, they are already in the US and bargaining with American authorities, US authorities to reduce the tariff. Of course, US imposed 26% on us. India has proposed 4%, the tariff gap to reduce to 4%. Now it is 13% tariff gap. And India has promised that the tariff cap will reduce to 4%. And India is doing trade with the US $47.3 billion. India, it seems that India has offered them that we reduce the tariff from 4% to 13%. There was one news coming out that few countries signed, UK, Vietnam, they already signed this masala trade deals. UK and Vietnam, they already signed. But India has some concerns. India said no, they wanted to bargain further. Proposed that we reduce the tariff cap from 13% to 4%, but 60% of your goods should be our zero tariff, and as well as give access to 90% of your preferential exports from US. That is the condition given by especially aircraft, luxury cars and hydrocarbons. They're asking 90% of access to US goods. So this is what India proposed to US, but we have to see. But already US given an indication, a signal, that we will reduce the tariff less than 20% to less than Vietnam, because already US government fixed Vietnam tariff at 20%, and they're given a little bit of hint to India that we will reduce lesser than the Vietnam. That means already Vietnam they given 20%. So if they say that we reduce the less than Vietnam, that means definitely it's going to be less than 20%. Definitely it's going to be less than 20%. That one thing we understood. Of course, there is a unresolved disputes between India and the US is still there, because US is imposing 50% tariff on Indian steel, and they are imposed 25% on auto parts. India is already threatening the US that if you don't reduce 50% tariff on Indian steel and as well as 25% on auto parts, we may also retaliate. Of course, it may not affect the dialogue that's going on between India and America. Of course, already India has shown red line to America on agricultural products. India already banned modified crops imports like maize, cotton, like soybean, and these are modified crops. They're modified crop in the sense that the DNA that can be changed, we call it as modified crop. Based on the using different techniques and different fertilizers and as well as the different method of cultivation, you can change the DNA of the crop that we call as modified crops. So it's like example maize, cotton, and soybean. These DNA of these products can be changed using technology. So those modified crops, India already banned imports. But America wanted India to open the market for these products, but India already shown the red line. They said no, because Indian farmers will suffer. Of course, India seeking preferential access for its textiles, electronics, gems, jewelry, and horticultural products, bananas, grapes in the US market, while offering to ease export regulations and high value goods in US goods like aircraft, medical devices, and energy products. But still there is a danger. Masala is very highly dangerous, which Trump is using that, because it's one-sided threatening, one-sided imposing, that even now we come for an agreement now. Trump at later stages, at any time, because he is the one who is threatening, there may be a chances that Trump may threaten again in the future. So just for mutual agreements may not be the end of this conflict, because the leaders like Trump can retaliate at any time. So that danger is there. But of course, there is one hope with India is that we have a great, strong defense cooperation between India and America. So it is not so much easy for America to threaten India, of course. And the second factor is China factor is there. The enemy of America is our enemy. So I don't think Trump will make India an enemy to them. Later stages, any war with China, this only option is they have to come on Indian land and fight with China. Of course, there is a quad relationship, India, Japan, US, and Australia. There is an agreement between these four countries, a quad agreement. So that also will be disturbed if Trump tries to pull the neck of India hard with rope. The quad agreement may disturb. So I don't think Trump will go very harsh with India. So this is about, already Trump imposed 25 to 40% on the different countries, and he already given signal that India is going to reduce to 26%. Let's see what will be the taste of this masala by Trump administration on India. Thank you. Namaskar.